Good morning. Happy Friday. I think fall found us, I guess, maybe earlier this week, but it's still here. I'm not sure what it's supposed to do. It got kind of windy yesterday, so lots of leaves came down. They're fun to watch, but getting them out of the yard, I don't like that part. So today we're going to play with some inversions. So inversions can evoke some emotions, especially in an older yogi like me. But inversions really include many of the poses that we already do. Definition of an inversion in the yoga world is having your head lower than your heart. So think about even a pose as simple as Anahata Asana, happy puppy pose, down dog, anytime forward fold when we're standing and folding forward. Those are all inversions. Then you can take it to the extreme and do headstands and handstands. I don't do headstands. I just don't like the pressure, the potential for problems with my neck. So I don't do headstands. Handstands I only do if I am doing yoga with a partner, and I may show you today using that wardrobe behind me, if I have a wall that I can kind of climb up. It's not too hard to do. In inversions, you need to be mindful of your wrists, of your shoulders, and depending upon the inversion, if you're doing a shoulder stand or plow, you need to be very mindful of your neck, and a headstand, very mindful of your neck. So let's move through this with some awareness and see how you like it. Join me on the mat. We're actually going to start on our backs. Do a little warm up here. And as you come to the back, pause just for a moment and connect with the breath. Maybe adding a little ujjayi in today. If that's not a routine part of your practice, try to make it a routine part of your practice. But in times of trying new things in yoga, if some of these inversions are new, the breath can be your best teacher. You'll notice when the sound is gone, and then you think, what's going on? Am I holding my breath? And why am I holding my breath? Maybe I need to back off a little bit and move forward with a little more awareness, a little more mindfulness. So let's reach long, full body stretch. That always feels good. And then draw both knees into the chest. Do some circling. So some of the benefits of an inversion is it can be calming to the nervous system as well as invigorating. So let's keep one knee in, extend the other leg long, and flow back and forth. So just pull one knee in and then extend the other. So it calms the nervous system because the head is lower than the heart, and we put some pressure on some receptors and some vessels in the body that triggers the relaxation response. But that increased volume of blood to the brain can wake you up. So it can be a nice balancing, waking but relaxing practice. I always think of it like a little car wash for the brain. So you're increasing the blood flow to the brain, kind of sweeping away maybe some of the metabolic byproducts and bringing some more oxygen and fresh nutrients to the brain. I bring both feet to the mat, one foot on the left edge, one on the right, arms out to the side. Let's twist a little here. But it also builds strength if you're supporting yourself. And we'll talk a little later about inversions like legs up, shoulder stand, plow. But for now, referring to inversions where we're supporting our weight on our upper extremities. And then come to stillness. Let's come up to a seated position. So if we're supporting ourselves on our arms, we're building bone. And in addition to that, we're building strength. And in addition to that, we're challenging our agility in new ways, giving the mind and the body, throwing it a curve. You've got to balance in a different way. We balance on our feet, now we're balancing in a different way. So that just adds to your agility skill set. And it just adds to mindfulness, just bringing you here to the moment. And it can be very playful, but it can also be very anxiety provoking. So find that edge, be brave. And let's talk about the wrists. So let's circle the wrists, move through the fingers. And I've mentioned before, as you get older and if you develop osteoporosis, osteopenia, one of the places that you're likely to develop a fracture is in the wrist, and that's because of falling. And then you hit the wrist, and if that bone strength isn't there, you're likely to develop a fracture. So balancing on bearing weight on the wrists, on the upper extremities, will help to build the bone. Now bring the arms out long. We're going to talk about shoulders now. I want you to push your arms forward. Feel the shoulder blades wrap towards the armpits, and then plug them in. Shoulder blades towards the spine. We're going to push and plug in. Shoulder blade push-ups here in our seated position, bringing awareness to the movement through the shoulder socket, the shoulder complex. Noticing that there's potential as you plug in. If you were bearing weight here, you can feel now you're really pressing into just the joint capsule. You don't have muscular support. If you push long, now all those muscles can support the shoulder socket, and you can bear weight in the upper extremities without compromising the integrity of the shoulders or the safety of the shoulders. Inhale, swing your arms up. Exhale, let's warm the spine up a little bit. Side to side. So in our inversions, we're changing our orientation to gravity. So draining the lymphatic system or helping to move that flow along. And the venous system as well, the veins in the body really don't have the same pressure as the arterial system, and they tend to need a little help to drain. Let's take a twist. And inverting can do that. Just kind of a flush. Let's go the second side. One more each way. So we're going to protect our wrists and our shoulders. And once we get down to the mat, bring the hands together. Exhale, hands to the heart. We're going to protect our neck. Now roll over the knees and come to cat and cow. So table. I have a blanket here. Since we're going to be on the wrists a lot, I want you to pause and rotate and massage the hands as often as you need to, but reminding you of some things that will help keep your wrists happy with all this weight bearing. Spread your fingers wide, push down. So now we're doing those shoulder blade push-ups again. And see if you can not bend the arms and let your chest slide forward so you get a sense of the place not to be when you're bearing weight. You feel there's no muscular support, I'm just hanging in the joint. Now push away. Feel all that support, that pushing away, that sensation is what we're looking for. With the fingers spread wide, grip the mat. Feel that little bit of a lift in the palms of the hands, and then press into the base of the index finger, base of the thumb. Keep all that. Let's do some cat-cow. So we're not bearing a whole lot of weight here, but see if you can maintain the awareness, practicing the awareness in these simpler poses. So it's just second nature when we're doing something more challenging, like an inversion. Warm that spine up. Let's thread the needle, warm up the shoulder, left arm out, shoulder height, take it behind the right. Come down to the shoulder side of the head, but keep the weight in the knees and in the hips. Breathe into the stretch. Unwind. Second side, right arm shoulder height. Reach behind the left, twist, and breathe. And unwind. Well, let's take our first gentle inversion. Heart pose, Anahata Asana. So walk the hands forward, and we'll stay engaged here in the arms and let the heart melt down towards the mat. So you can bring your chin down or your forehead, but stay engaged. So this is an active pose. And notice that the head is a bit lower than the heart, and maybe you'll feel a little pressure in the face and in the head. And that's the part of an inversion that triggers the relaxation response. Now walk back to table. Let's do a little barrel roll through the spine, but engage the wrists, engage the shoulders. Drop the belly, and let's do a big circle like a jump rope. Or a barrel. Go the other way. Downward facing dog, our next inversion. Tuck the toes, send the hips back and up. Bring awareness to the hands and the wrists. Are you doing all those things I told you to do? The shoulders can be tricky here. So to bring an external rotation to the upper arm, which is what we want to protect the shoulders, I want you to bend your elbows so they point out. Now scoop the elbows towards the floor and then straighten the arms. And that will drop your trapezius muscle so your shoulders aren't up in your ears and you're really supported in the shoulders. Breathe into this. Notice the sensation of this inversion. And if you want to pedal around here, feel free. It's really our first down dog. Two more breaths. Now swing your right leg back and up. Let's step it forward. And drop the back heel in, rising up in warrior one. Hands to heart. So now we're not inverted. Feel the sensation, the shift in our relationship to gravity, the fluids and the pressure. Just notice. Now swing your arms up by your ears. Roll those little fingers towards each other. Get that feeling in your shoulders. And notice you can keep that sensation in the shoulders and then turn the palms to face each other, even bringing the hands together. And the shoulders don't move. Now open your arms, left and right. We're going to come to eagle arms. Bring your right arm under your left. You can start with a hug. Maybe bring backs of the hands together or even wrap into eagle. Now drop those shoulders and push them actively down, shoulder blades down. Lift the fingers. Push the forearms forward. Maybe you stay here or maybe you come into a nice back bend. Spread that back bend up and down the spine. Keeping integrity all up and down the vertebrae, the vertebral column, especially the cervical spine. So don't just throw the head back. Keep reaching through the crown of the head as you lift the gaze further and further up and back. Breathe. And bring the hands back to heart. Unwind. Fold forward. Step back in down dog. Find your down dog. Pay attention to the wrists, the fingers. Bend the elbows again. Scoop. More space in the shoulders. Breathe. Two more breaths here. Feel the pressure in the face. Nice inversion. Nice, safe, gentle inversion. So all the benefits as we work our way to more challenging inversions. Now swing the left leg back and up. Step it forward. Coming up in warrior one, you may have to hop that back foot up a bit and rise up. Now bring your arms out for this one. Palms down. I want you to scoop those little fingers towards each other. Reach with the fingertips. Feel the sensation in the shoulders. Now bring your hands to face each other. Notice the shoulders didn't have to move. You can even bring your hands together in Anjali Mudra. Lift your prayer. You can keep the arms in front of the face a bit. Now let's come into eagle. So left arm under right. You can start with the head. Backs of the hands together, take the wrap. Drop the shoulders, push them down. And then reach up with the fingertips, forward with the forearms. Maybe you stay here, or maybe you start to come into this nice, smooth, even back bend. Breathe. Keep shoulders out of ears. Keep reaching through the crown of the head. Smooth your front ribs. It's easy to flare the ribs here, and that causes a hinge in your back bend. Sometimes it's hard to talk and balance at the same time. And then unwind. Fold forward. Step back in plank. Now push, you're on the balls of your feet. You're going to push forward until the shoulders are right over the wrists. And even in this shape, we're maintaining the integrity of the wrists and the shoulders. So push into the hands. Feel the shoulder blades wrap more towards the armpits, and now you have more space between the shoulder blades. Press into the base of the index finger, base of the thumb, grip the mat. 2 more breaths here. Drop your knees and come back to child's pose. Support your head in some way. Maybe it comes easily to the mat. You can stack your fists or even bring a block under your forehead. And breathe. In child's pose, it can always feel nice to walk the hands and arms back alongside of the legs, turn the palms up, and release those shoulders. Wiggling the fingers, circling the wrists. And then reaching long, press your way to table. And I want you to come down onto your forearms in table. So elbows are right under shoulders, and spacing, a nice trick for spacing for the elbows is to kind of fold your arms like an I Dream of Jeannie pose, and that will bring your elbows underneath your armpits and bring the palms forward. Push into the elbows now. Feel more space between the shoulder blades. Tuck your toes. Lift your hips. It's kind of a forearm down dog. Push into the elbows. So this in my body becomes a little more challenging on my shoulders. I'm going to start to walk my feet forward any amount. Let the head hang. And maybe even work towards not bringing the top of the head to the mat, but bringing the top of the head so it hovers over the mat. Stay strong in the shoulders. Another inversion. Dolphin pose. You can walk forward as far as you like. 3 more breaths. Feel the strength in the shoulders. And then float the knees down. Sit back in child's pose. It can feel good to really stick the hands to the mat as you send your hips back and down, stretching through the shoulders. Breathe. On your inhale, come back up to table. Let's do some circling through the hips here. So in turn, we're circling through the shoulders, circling through the wrists and the knees. Go the other way. So from table, we're going to lift back up into down dog. Now bring the feet hip distance apart. And I want you to just with the right leg, reach the right leg back and up, and then lightly touch it down. Now this time, lift the right leg up and see if you can kick up a bit. So you lift the left foot off the mat, any amount. Now let's do 3 more. Maybe you get a little braver with each one. Feel into the wrists, into the shoulders. So you're working towards a handstand. Drop the knees. Take a child.
Just a quick one. Roll through the wrists, massage the palms of the hands, stretch the shoulders.
Come back to table. And start with strong shoulders, start with strong wrists, then lift up into down dog. Maintain all of that. And now we're going to reach the left leg back and up and touch it down. And then little donkey kicks. Let's do 3. Trying to lift that right leg. Getting some air. Bring the feet back to hip distance apart. Bend your knees a lot. Now we're going to jump forward. We're going to float to the top of the mat. And it might take a couple hops. But hop. As you arrive, press the hands into the shins. Push the shoulders down away from the ears. Reach long through the crown of the head. Decompress the spine and then exhale, fold. So folding forward. Bend the knees. Let your arms hang. We are in an inversion. Let your head hang. So reaping all the benefits of an inversion. And keep the knees bent and slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. And as you arrive, inhale the arms up. And exhale the hands home to the heart. Let's do a little circling through the shoulders. Left arm up, back, and down, followed by right arm up, back, and down. 2 more each side. Last one. Inhale, swing your arms up. And exhale, fold forward. On an inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, step back in plank. Take a moment, find your plank. Now keeping the integrity of the shoulders, we're going to bend the elbows, no more than halfway down. Chaturanga. Now lower the hips, bring the heart forward. High Cobra. Toes are still tucked. If they aren't, tuck them, downward facing dog. Pay attention to the shoulders and the wrists through all that movement. Swing the right leg back and up. Step it forward. Externally rotate the back leg. We're going to come up in warrior 2. So cartwheel the arms up. Reach in both directions. Now, notice the tops of your shoulders now. Now swing your arms down in front of you. And then up and over. And then drop them down. Maybe you get a little more of a drop. Kind of release the shoulders out of the ears. Take your hands to your hips. Straighten the front leg. Let's turn into Prasarada. Inhale the arms up. And exhale. You can keep your hands on your hips for some awareness of where the fold should be coming from. Right at the hips. And then eventually releasing the hands to the mat. You can just let the hands hang for this first time through. We're back in an inversion, so not bearing weight on the arms. Pull the feet away from each other. Support your low back. Let your muscles, those big muscles in your legs, help to control the weight in the torso. 3 more breaths here. Now take your hands to your thighs, and as you exhale, bend the knees, and then pull the feet away from each other. Inhale the arms up. Hands to hips, back to warrior 2. Arms out long, bend into that front knee. Take the gaze down the right fingers, drop your shoulders. Let's take a half bind and lift up into peaceful. Back to warrior 2. Straighten the front leg. Let's come into triangle. Reaching up with the left arm. The gaze can be down at your foot, to your left, or up towards the sky. Bend into that front knee a bit as you rise up into warrior 2. Cartwheel the arms forward. Frame the foot. Find your plank. Shift the weight forward a bit. Bend the elbows. Stay strong in the shoulders and the wrists. Then let your hips come down and your heart come forward. So modified up dog or high cobra, downward facing dog. Breathe. Check on your shoulders again. Maybe bend the elbows, scoop them down towards the earth. And then once you do that, check on the hands, because it's easy to shift your weight to the outer edge of the hand. You want to keep the weight, the pressure, into the bottom of the thumb and bottom of the index finger. Left leg back and up. Step forward. Warrior 2. Virabhadrasana 2. Take your gaze down your left fingers and let's swoop the hands again. Release the shoulders. Down, out of the ears. Reach through the fingertips. Breathe. Hands to hips, straighten the front leg. Let's turn to Prasarita this side. Inhale the arms up. Let's take the hands behind us now. Open through the front chest, so open those shoulders. It's a nice release from some of that weight bearing. Push the knuckles down. Lift the fist away. Fold forward at the hips. Let the head hang, another inversion. Breathe. Keep pulling those feet away from each other. Feel the support. Bend your knees on an exhale. Inhale, rise up. Opening back to Warrior 2. Drop your shoulders out of your ears. Take Peaceful Warrior. Breathe. And then back to Warrior 2. Straighten the front leg, reach, coming into triangle, Trikonasana. And play with your gaze here. Challenge your agility. Now let's bring the hands down to the mat. Step back in plank. Lower your knees. And let's come down to crocodile. Stacking the hands and resting the forehead. Separate the legs, left and right edges. Bend the knees and windshield wiper. Now massage your hands and your wrists. And then come to stillness. Three breaths here, maybe listening for Ujjayi. And pressing back into table, hands and knees. Check on the wrists. Check on the shoulders. Now, if your wrists are still troublesome, you can use a blanket. You can even roll the top of your mat into a little lift for the heel of the hand. So by lifting the heel of the hand, you help direct the force, some of the force away from the wrist and down into the fingers and to the rest of the palm. So you decide if that's something that works for you. And from here, let's lower back down onto the forearms. Let's check our placement. So I dream of genie arms. And then bring the hands back down. Now in this really supported forearm position, push into the shoulders. Tuck the toes. Let your head start to hang now. And push down so the head isn't on the mat. You push down. You're supporting yourself in your shoulders. With the toes tucked, lift the hips. Maybe you walk forward some more. And maybe you lift the right leg and do a little hop here. We'll do 3. And then switch sides, right leg, hop.
And drop the knees. Come back into a child's, but stick those hands. Stretch the wrists, stretch the fingers, stretch the shoulders. And breathe.
Now come up onto your shins. So when you're down there on your forearms in Dolphin, or if you're working towards a headstand, and we'll shift our hands here next, I want you to play here with me by bringing your arms up, rolling those little fingers towards each other, keeping the shoulders that way, lacing the fingers, and then bending the elbows. Now notice the space. If you push up through those elbows, your elbows are way higher, your forearms are way higher than the head. So you can support yourself on your arms and not your head. Cervical spine is not something you want to mess with. So let's try this on the mat. Forearms down, hips are up. Check your placement. I dream of genie arms. And then bring the hands together, lace the fingers just like we did. Push into the elbows. Head comes down, but not on the mat. Now lift your hips. I like this version better than my hands out straight. Start walking towards the top of the mat, any amount, and then maybe we do a little donkey kick. Each side gets some air. Second side. And drop the knees. Take a child's pose, stick the hands.
Maybe thread those arms down by the shins and let go.
And then come back up on your shins. So I'm going to show you how I get into a handstand. I'm really comfortable doing it this way. If I do it without the support of a wall or this big piece of furniture here, I only do it if somebody's with me to help me lift my legs up. But if you have a wall or a big piece of furniture, essentially come into table. My feet are on this piece of furniture. My knees are on the hardwood floor. That's probably not a good idea. I'm going to set my shoulders up, set my wrists up first. Then I'm going to lift my knees and start climbing my feet. Check on the arms, check on the wrists. Nice support, let the head hang. Now if you're really brave, you can start walking your hands towards the wall. Breathe. Feel the shakes, that's okay. Just as long as you feel supported. And then exhale, come down. And sit back in child's pose. So that's the way I get to handstand. I do not do headstand. Even with somebody around me, I just don't. I don't like that pressure on the neck. I just don't. And there's ways to do it. You support yourself with your shoulders, but it would be too easy in my shoulders to lose that support quickly and come down on my head and my neck. So I don't like that. Alrighty, let's come back to table. Tuck the toes, down dog. And let's bend the knees a lot and try to float. Actually, let's do some donkey kicks first with both legs. So this time, instead of one leg kicking up, kick both legs up. One more. And this time, jump it forward. So try to float forward. Lift halfway when you get here. And fold. Another inversion. Nice, easy inversion. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Swing your arms out and up. And exhale the hands home to the heart. Let's do a little dynamic balancing here. Then we'll come to our back and do a legs up pose, maybe a bridge pose, and maybe into a shoulder stand. So lifting the left knee, come into staff, and then dynamically we're going to reach back, come into airplane, and back up. Let's do a total of 5. That was 2 for me. Two more this side. One more. And then gracefully find your way to mountain. Step it out a little and take the second side, 5 of them. Staff to airplane or warrior 3. If it's easy for you, you can bring your hands to heart center. Bring your arms up by your ears or along your sides. Two more for me. Last one. And then back to mountain pose. Let's bring the arms up. Take your right hand behind your head, behind the shoulder blades. Kind of release that shoulder a little bit. Done a lot of work on the shoulders today. Take the left hand thumb down. Bring the back of the hand anywhere along your back. Releasing the shoulders. And once you get here, just kind of drop into it. And breathe. Second side, left arm up, right behind the head. Maybe move your humerus, the upper arm bone, around into the shoulder socket. Second side, and then just kind of drop into it. Let it go. Inhale the arms out into goddess, openly. And exhale, draw the forearms forward, releasing the shoulders. Inhale, open. And exhale, forward. One more. Now bring your hands together, lace the fingers. Let's move a little bit through the wrists. And then come to your back. So another way to invert. So the inversions we were doing so far are really sometimes referred to as heated inversions because they, although they are relaxing, they trigger the parasympathetic nervous system, calming, they're invigorating. The ones that we're going to do now on our back can be referred to as cooling. So they are an inversion because we're bringing the legs and sometimes hips and sometimes the entire torso above the head. So as you arrive, pause and notice the breath. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath your back. Walk your heels towards your butt. And then bring your hands close to you. Maybe you can feel your heels. Now before we lift up even into bridge, I want you to bring some awareness to the neck. So we're lifting weight and it's easy to shift things too far up into the neck. So we need to be mindful and not do that. But we want space back there. So instead of a nice inward curve, maybe lift the head, tuck the chin, and then lay the head down. So now you've flattened that curve a little bit, but you've brought a little more space to the neck. Now we'll lift into bridge, hips go up, knees go forward. So this is an inversion. Breathe. We can go higher in this by coming up onto the balls of the feet, walking a little closer to your bottom, lifting a little higher, even bringing the shoulders underneath you, clasping your fingers and pushing down into the mat to push the hips up higher. Feel how that shifts a little more weight up into the shoulders. You don't want this weight to be in the head and in the neck. So you can even lift the head here and reach through the crown of the head and place the head down. And breathe. And then we'll come down slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Now let's support this if you have blocks. I'm going to bring one block underneath my sacrum. Lifting the back of my head, reaching, laying the head down, tucking the shoulder blades, and then lifting the knees and lifting the feet. So this is another inversion. It's a restorative inversion. Very supported. You can even start letting those legs drift a little closer to you if that feels good. And then bend the knees and let's lift the hips and press up. So coming up into shoulder stand, I want you to be very mindful of the neck. And don't do this if you don't want to do it. I'm going to lift up into my bridge pose. This is how I get into my shoulder stand. I bring my hands underneath my hips and control. So all that was really controlled. I felt no pressure in my neck. I've got weight in my shoulders, but my neck, and don't turn your head side to side, but just it should feel very free. If plow is in your practice, Halasana, you can start to drop those feet down any amount. Again, awareness in the head and the neck. You can even release the arms down. Keep the weight, keep pushing a little into the hips. Pushing the sacrum away to keep the weight out of the head and neck. And then bend the knees and control your descent down to the floor. Pause here in a neutral spine. Lots of inversions today. And we'll take a few moments for relaxation. So any last minute movements that you might want to do. Little windshield wipering might feel good with the legs. Maybe some hip circles, maybe even a happy baby. Nice gentle one. We didn't do a whole lot of hip opening today. A nice restorative inversion for relaxation can be, and I moved my chair, but you can put your legs up on a chair, up on the sofa, up on pillows. I'm just going to keep my knees lifted and wrap my ankles around each other. So a bit of an inversion, even in this gentle shape. Helping to drain the lymph fluid and the venous blood from the legs. Breathe. Now start wiggling and stretching and deeper breathing. As you find your way up to a seated position. So inversions, I like some inversions. I do like handstands if I have the wall or something to support me, but I built up the strength in my wrists and in my shoulders. With the handstands, you just have to be really mindful of the shoulders, the wrists, and if they hurt, you don't do it. And like I said, I don't like the headstands because I'm just not a fan of compromising the cervical spine. Personally, I don't have the strength in the shoulders to know that I'm not gonna accidentally dump down on the top of my head. So play with inversions. They don't have to be crazy ones. Know that we do inversions through our yoga practice. It's part of balancing out the yin and the yang energy for your day. I hope you enjoyed this, a little workshop-y class. Let's inhale one more time together, reach up. Exhale, drawing the hands to the heart. May you have peaceful thoughts, peaceful words, a peaceful heart, and a peaceful world. Namaste. I will see you Monday, 7 a.m. Have a great weekend. We have a busy weekend coming up, but fun stuff with family. So I'll see you Monday morning.